Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Please go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. This really helps out the channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're YouTube, this is a satire channel and it's for entertainment purposes only. So, with all that out of the way, let's see what we got today. We are live.
What you're seeing here is water memory. You can do this experiment yourself just by showing an image to water for around 30 seconds and then freezing the water, and you will see a reflection of the image you showed it. This proves that water holds memory, it has consciousness. This is because water can change its structure depending on the vibrations it comes into contact with. This is where things start to get a bit crazy with words. Placing the word schizophrenia in water and then freezing it shows this image of a double-faced person. This proves that water is intelligent and is reacting to vibrations of the words. Now that you understand this concept, what do you think happens when you are drinking Monster Energy, or with cans which imprinted the word of death? You are drinking crystallized water with the imprinted vibration of death. You are filling 70% of your body, which is water, with the vibration of death. Tap water is mixed with sewage and all sorts of toxins inside of these facilities. Although they may remove some of the toxins from the water, the crystallized vibration of this water is still very bad. The ancients didn't just build beautiful water fountains for no reason. They had a purpose of moving the water so that it restructures the vibration of the water. Water is basically the internet of the earth. It has consciousness and intelligence. This is why you should never place your car keys or your phone next to your water.
Very interesting.
Why doesn't anyone talk about this? Evidence has just been released on the existence of ancient underwater cities. Our history is much different than we've been taught. In 1985, an ocean expedition by the National Institute of Oceanography discovered an ancient underwater city called Dwarka off the coast of India. The city not only contains intricately carved structures and road systems, but also mechanisms that once used to move. They must have had access to knowledge that made them extremely advanced. But here is where it gets crazy. This city was written about in the Mahabharata. In the ancient Hindu text, it is known as the Gated City and is one of the 7 pilgrimage sites. At its peak, there were 900,000 royal palaces, all constructed with crystal, gold, and emeralds. The team at the end of their expedition said that the evidence confirms the existence of a city in 1500 BC, and it is also reasonable to assume that it is the city mentioned in the Mahabharata. But this is where things get even crazier. It is also said to be where Krishna, the Hindu god, used to live.
Just more evidence of a flood, in my opinion.
Nothing is new under the sun. Mostly just shelved technology from the old world that sat around until they could re-engineer it to maximize profit. Check out the original mobile phone from all the way back in 1940. Here is the ARC Cambridge car phone. This is just one of the many models offered from that time. But hold the phone, because we got an awesome video of them in action. On a side note, I've always loved how the interiors looked on these older cars. The style and aesthetics, and the phone just goes perfectly with that.
Type of mobile telephone service was used when our friend Mac called from his mobile telephone. This service is designed to provide a means of communication for those who travel in city areas as well as those who travel along intercity highways. Any place having regular telephone service or any vehicle having mobile equipment can originate or receive a call. Now let's see the equipment that makes mobile telephone service work. Here in an automobile, a transmitter unit and a receiver unit are being compactly and neatly installed. The flexible antenna is mounted on top of the vehicle, or in the case of trucks, on the side toward the rear. The control unit is simple to operate. The operator calls by ringing a bell. At the same time, a signal lamp on the left of the unit lights up. Throughout the country, mobile telephone stations are being expanded to become links in a nationwide network. The mobile telephone greatly expands the scope of voice communication. It is one more step toward telephone service for anyone, anytime, anywhere.
What's up, brothers and sisters? I hope everyone knows this logo. Did you know that there was a hidden meaning behind this logo? So let's break it down. We have fallen angels fallen from heaven, hovering over the waters, just like the Spirit did. And what are they doing? They're congregating around a mountain. Now, where do we get that from? And how many stars are right there? The book of Enoch speaks about 22 angels fallen from heaven, congregating on a mountain called Mount Hermon. Right here, by name. Now, when Lucifer originally fell, he took 1/3 of his angels. What is 1/3? 3.33. Why is that number so significant? Now, why is 33 so significant? Well, when the angels fell, they landed on the only geological place on Earth that represents their number, 33.33 north and 33.3 degrees east, using the Paris Prime Meridian. So let's bring this all together. Paramount Logos has a mountain with 22 stars around it. The Book of Enoch has 22 stars mentioned by name that congregate around a mountain, and the mountain is literally the only geological place on Earth that represents their number, using the Paris Prime Meridian. Things that make you go, Wait till my next video, and I'll connect something else with Mount Hermon.
Interesting. Yeah, you might be onto something there.
If you haven't heard of the mud flood by now, it's basically the theory that all the big cities around the world were actually found, and they were taken by the people who found them. Now, this is the oldest photos of Madagascar that you will ever see. And when you look through these, you're going to see some rather strange stuff that you probably wouldn't expect in a place like this. First, you're going to see all these buildings basically out in the nowhere, with dirt and rubble everywhere around them. Now, many of these were said to be the result of colonialism. But on tops of these buildings, in many photos, you'll see those same type lightning rods. You'll see the similar cathedrals, and even buildings like these, which are still standing sometimes. Now check this out, and check this out. You see the lightning rods are missing. And there's many other buildings that are still around in Madagascar. But I want you to check this last photo, and then check the next one, and you can see that the bottom windows are now obscured.
You know, it's getting more and more clear to me.
In the early 1900s, a series of remarkable stone structures were discovered in remote locations around the world. These amazing artifacts, known as stone stargates, captivated the imagination of archaeologists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Carved with intricate patterns and symbols, their true purpose remains shrouded in mystery. Ancient folklore, however, spoke of these stargates as devices used by civilizations from distant solar systems to travel across the cosmos. By the 1950s, almost all the stargates had vanished without a trace, fueling rumors of government cover-ups and hidden agendas. Some theorize that governments around the world systematically confiscated the stargates and concealed them in top-secret facilities. Their whereabouts remain unknown.
Just another topic for us to start scratching the surface of.
He found this ring, a big ring, and didn't know what it was, but saw this strange writing on, these strange symbols on this ring. So then he and another person walked through it to look at the other side, and lo and behold, they got into some other sphere, as if they walked into another dimension.
And this ring, so the audience knows, we're talking like what diameter?
Probably 25 feet
right.
in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
And
the sphere was even larger than that.
Oh, as they walked into it, it was like a new world, as he explained in his diary.
Is this a portal of some sort?
Well, today we would call it a portal or a stargate. I think we would refer to it today as a stargate.
Stargate.
But when he walked into it, it was as if he was in a new world. It was an open area, plush pastures. He sees a river, which he assumed it to be the Nile, and he sees almost a movie occurring, showing people building these pyramids.
How many of the team went with him?
Only two.
Only two.
And eventually, 3 days later, the colonel and his assistant comes back out, and he talks of this new world that they found. He knows now how these pyramids were built. He knows where they are located. He knows that there's tunnels under each one of them, and he sees these strange-looking beings, and this is in his diary, strange-looking beings that are probably not from Earth. Now, he says this in his diary, and this is 1928.
Well, food for thought.
There have been many pictures and videos that have came to light recently from Anlong County in China that shows clearly many dozens, if not more, pyramids hidden amongst the hillsides. Now the experts are saying these are no more than parallel layers of stones. They all just happen to look like pyramids. But it's pretty clear it's just one more in a growing list of reasons why we don't trust the experts anymore. And these certainly weren't the first pyramids uncovered in China. Here's a photo in 1945 from U.S. Airman James Gossman, and it was absolutely massive in size, dwarfing the pyramids in Egypt. You can pause to read more of his experience. In fact, there's been dozens, if not hundreds, of photos and reports of hidden pyramids scattered all throughout China. While government officials refuse access to investigate any of these sites, in fact, goes to great lengths to cover them back up, plant trees on top of them, and block off any access from the public. But even on the controlled Google Earth, you can still find many of them to this day. But it's no surprise they want to keep these hidden. These realm-wide pyramids show once again, history is nothing more than a set of lies agreed upon. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Yeah, it's a literal cover-up of our actual history. It's time to excavate these mounds and pyramids.
This is 2 videos I've taken of the moon on 2 separate days, 2 days apart. Now, I've got a question. If the moon is a solid object in space, why do the craters change? Like, look at the craters here and look at the craters here. I mean, on the bottom, the craters are there, indented, you can see them. But on the top video, it's like they're sealed over. Let's see this from the start again. Look at the craters here, and look at the craters here. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think a solid object should be doing that. Maybe the scientist from the 60s that was right in saying the moon is plasma. I mean, I don't know how he was proving that, but it would make sense that it's ionized gas, just like the sun, right?
Now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomena, cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. The soft landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is less, far less, than is currently assumed. It's in a different state of energy, and it has far less mass. That means there is no more explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only 1,000th part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high under conventional theories instead of sometimes 14 feet. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved. On the contrary, there is scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature than what was assumed.
But the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen.
Normal people are going out and doing experiments, and one of the experiments has turned up an amazing fact that we've not been told, and it destroys the whole idea of this heliocentric system, and that is the moon. Now, you can actually measure the temperature of the moonlight next to the temperature of the shade of the moonlight, and you'll find the moonlight is colder than the shade, the opposite from the sun. So the moon is throwing out its own light, and that light is the opposite from the sun. Now, that tells you that it's not reflecting the sun's light. It's producing its own, and its light is different from the sun's. So, you know, the scientific community have not told us this, because they won't tell us this, because it destroys this idea that the sun is, is lighting up the moon.
Everyone knows, like, if you're in sunlight, it's colder in the shade, right? So if it's 100 degrees in the sun, it's 90 degrees in the shade. You go to the moonlight, like especially in a full moon, especially if it's high in the sky, the moon is its own independent object. It is not reflecting the sun rays. The sun is its own object. Also, about the same size, which is, again, coincidentally, why the moon fits so perfectly in front of the sun during an eclipse. We always thought it was coincidence that even though it was 400 times farther away, that it was also exactly 400 times less diameter, which is why it fits. And the other weird thing about the moon, which everyone thinks, oh, it's just a coincidence, is that we never see the other side of it. It's constantly perfectly rotating, so we only see one side of the moon. Exactly one side. It's not like we have like a quarter of a degree every 5 years or half a degree here and there. It's always the same side. There are no coincidences when it comes to this system. It was deliberately built, but I think it was deliberately built to be detected. And I think we were naturally supposed to figure this thing out maybe as late as the 1970s, but the government figured it out first, and they have been spending a heck of a lot of money trying to keep it a secret.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think he's right about that, and the light of the moon. Take from that what you will.
Undeniable evidence that we do live under a dome or the firmament. Now, first of all, why is it that every single ancient culture and society all depicted the dome and the flat earth? Even the Masons did that. Here's us. Here's the Egyptians' depiction. The blue sky, the firmament, and the stars on the firmament. Here's the Hebrew, and I want you to take note of this. Waters above the firmament. Here's a real close-up of the stars. This is what a real close-up of stars look like under a Nikon 9000, the most powerful camera in the world. Does that look familiar to you? Waters above the firmament? Quotes in the Bible about the firmament. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were on top of the firmament. Genesis 1:7. Why is it when you point a camera at the North Star, they always do perfect circles? If we're really doing this, then you should see the stars do all sorts of crazy patterns, not perfect circles. That's because the stars are moving and we are stationary. Look how capped this shit is. Where's the stars? I got so much more evidence. If you want a part 2, let me know. And I'm going to tell you in the comments what the elites benefit from keeping this a secret. Peace.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around to this more and more and more. It seems to be that there's more evidence for a flat earth and a firmament and a local sun and a local moon, to me, that I'm really starting to come around to that. Like I've said in previous videos, I don't trust NASA. I don't believe anything that they tell me. And I feel that way about the government as well. Of course, I'm just some guy on the internet, raving, just putting up crazy conspiracy videos for entertainment purposes only. I don't believe any of this stuff. This is a satire channel, YouTube. But, I'm interested to know what you guys think. So go ahead, drop a comment. Let me know. Let's get a discussion going, and let's see where everyone's at. But that's all I got today, guys. I want to thank you a lot for coming and hanging out with me, and I guess I'll see you again in the next one. And until then, 80 Canadian, signing off.